Hello guys, how are you today? So today I'll be explaining the math AMS of term 1 week 5. Now this quiz is a bit long and there's a lot of formulas, so please do pay attention. Okay. And anyways, let me start with the very first question. It's very easy. The above function D models the distance in meters Jerry has to swim to reach the end line in a competition after swimming for T seconds. About how many meters can Jerry swim each second? So they told us that Jerry is at this position and he needs to swim to the finish line, which is at 0 meter. That means Jerry is at which position? He is at position 50. Perfect. They said, about how many meters can Jerry swim each second? Very simply, if you were to substitute in the equation that minus 0.08 times 1 plus 50, you would get what? You would get 49.92. But in reality, in 1 second, does he swim 49.92 meters? That's very impossible, by the way. He'd be inhumane if he, not a human. If he was doing this, he was swimming this fast. But in reality, the distance he actually swam was from 50 meters all the way to 49.92, which is actually 0.08 meters. So in 1 second, Jerry can swim around 0.08 meters. We'll move on to question number 2. What does it say? Alan lives in a town at an altitude of 500 feet above sea level. He drives from his house uphill a mountainous road to visit a friend. Okay, so what does it say? He lives 500 feet above sea level. This is our constant. Why? Because he always lives 500 feet above sea level. It doesn't change. He always lives 500 feet above sea level. He drives from his home uphill a mountainous road to visit a friend. For each 3 miles uphill, so every 3 miles he's traveling uphill, the altitude increases by how much? It increases by 50 feet. So we can say that for every 3 miles, right, there is an increase of 50 feet. So every 1 mile, there's an increase of what? There's an increase of 50 over 3 feet. So very simply, we can say that every 1 mile or every x mile is 50 over 3 times x feet. So very simply, this is going to be what? This is going to be 50 over 3x feet. So again, we said 500 because it's constant. He always lives 500 feet above sea level. Then they said that every 3 miles he drives, and altitude increases by 50 feet. So if he drives 1 mile, it increases by 50 over 3. If he drives x miles, it will increase by 50 over 3 times x. Perfect, perfect. Now we'll move on to question number 3. What does it say in question number 3? What whole number is equal to the derivative of 2? Like f prime 2. So you will substitute in the derivative 2. So very simply in this scenario, I have what? I have a monomial up and a binomial up, which is the same as what? Which is the same actually as u over v, right? And we said when we're dealing with u over v, we'll have to apply the equation, which is u prime v minus v prime u over what? Over v squared. So first of all, let us call our u and our u prime, and our v and our v prime. So if we start off with the u, our u given to us is 18x squared, and our u prime, you guys should know how to do the derivative, is 36x. Now, our v in this scenario is 1 plus x, and our v prime, you should know how to do it, is 1. So now, let's substitute in the equation. What are we going to get? We're going to get 36x first, times 1 plus x, minus 1 times 18x squared. All of it over what? All of it over v squared, which is what? Which is 1 plus x squared. Perfect. Now, instead of expanding and wasting time and then substituting 2, you can substitute directly like in this equation how it is. So it will be 36 times 2 times 1 plus 2 minus 1 times 18 times 2 squared over what? Over 1 plus x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. So put it on the calculator. 36 times 2 times 1 plus 2 minus 18 times 2 squared over 1 plus 2 squared, we will get an answer which is what? Which is 16. We'll move on to question number 4 now. What does it say? What whole number is equal to the substitution of derivative 10? So first of all, we need to find the derivative of this. It's very easy. For each one you find its derivative. So 9x squared plus 4x plus 5, and we substitute 10 now here. So 9 times 10 squared plus 4 times 10 plus 5, and you are supposed to get an answer which is equal to 945. So this is our answer. We'll move on to question number 5. What does it say in question number 5? Consider the curve C. So we have a curve whose equation is given by this over here. They said if n is the line normal to C at this point and Q is a point on n, what must the value of S be? So first things first, they said what? N is a line normal to C. So what am I going to do in this scenario? First thing, I will take my curve, I will take the derivative of my curve, and I'm going to get 4x minus 0.125x, minus 0.125. You remove the x in the derivative. Now, what did they say? They gave us that it is normal to C at this point, at this specific point. So let us find the original slope of the tangent. So let's find the slope of tangent at C, right? How do we find it? Very simply, we substitute our x in this scenario. So 4 times 0 minus 0.125, you're going to get minus 0.125, which is minus 1 over 8. Now, they're asking us for the normal. Whenever we're dealing with the normal, what do? We will take the reciprocal of our number. That means we will flip it, right? So it will become minus 8 over 1 now. And then we will change the sign. So if it's minus, it becomes plus. If it's plus, it becomes minus. So now what is the slope of our normal? The slope of our normal now is plus 8 over 1. Perfect. Now, our normal is a straight line. And the equation of a straight line is y equals ax plus b, where a is the slope. So y equals 8x plus b, right? How do we find b? We take the point 0, 0, and we substitute it. So 0 is equal to 8 times 0 plus b. That means there's no b because b is 0. So now, our equation becomes that y is equal to 8x. So now what do we need to substitute? We need to substitute the point q in order to get the value of s. So y is equal to 8 times 5. So y is equal to 40. That means s is equal to 40. Let's move on to the next question, which is question number 6. What does it say? What whole number is equal to the substitution of derivative minus 2? So what are we supposed to do? 200 over x to the power of 4. Here we don't have any nomial. It's not a monomial, a binomial, or a trinomial. It's a whole number. And then we have x to the power of 4. So in my opinion, look what we're going to do. We're going to move x to the power of 4 to the other side. So 200 times x to the power of minus 4. Now, we keep 200 alone. We don't take the derivative of 200. It stays aside. Multiplied by the derivative of this, it becomes minus 4x to the power of minus 5. So now what do? We solve. It will now become 200 times minus 4, which is minus 800x minus 5. Bring it down, so minus 800 over x to the power of 5. Perfect. Now, you will substitute minus 2 in this equation over here. So minus 800 over minus 2 to the power of what? To the power of 5. You will get an answer of 25. We'll move on to the next question, which is question number 7. Aha, look, this is very important. If we have u or v, both of them mean what? They are a nomial, meaning it's either monomial, binomial, trinomial. As long as it contains x, then this is the definition of a nomial. Okay, so let us start. Here they give us a binomial. Very important. When we're taking the derivative of a binomial, look what happens. We'll just act as if it's what? It's ax, or sorry, not a. It's x to the power of n. So we'll bring n down, n x to the power of n minus 1. So let's do that. You'll bring n down. It will become 4 times x squared plus 2x to the power of n minus 1, which is 3. But now a very, 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 very important step is to multiply by what? To multiply by the derivative of the inside. So what's the derivative of the inside? In this scenario, it's 2x plus 2. Perfect. Now they need you to substitute 1. So the only thing we're going to do now is substitute 1. You can put it on the calculator. 4 times 1 squared plus 2 times 1. All of it to the power of 3 times 2 times 1 plus 2, and you're going to get an answer of 432. We'll move on to the next question, which is question number 8. What does it say? It says, consider the curve C, y equals x squared minus 4x. Fill in each blank with the correct number. So we have a curve over here. They want the slope of the tangent to the curve. How do we find the slope to the tangent of the curve? First thing, you need to take the derivative of the curve. In this scenario, it's 2x minus 4. Now, the slope to the tangent of the curve at this point, which is 4, 0, is how much? You will take the x and you will substitute it over here. So 2 times 4 minus 4, you will get an answer of 4. So the slope to the tangent to the curve is what is 4. Now let's write the equation of the line, because the tangent is a straight line, and the equation of a straight line is y equals ax plus b. So in this scenario, our y is 0 is equal to our slope times 4 plus b. So that means b is equal to what? B is equal to minus 16. Perfect, perfect. So now what is the general equation? It is y is equal to 4x minus 16. This is the general equation of the tangent. Now they said the tangent of the curve at this point intersects the y-axis. When they say intersects the y-axis, that means x is equal to 0. So now we need to substitute x by 0. Y is equal to 4 times 0 minus 16. So y is equal to minus 16. Very simply, 4 and minus 16. We'll move on to question number 9. Very important question. The line y equals minus 8x cuts the curve at this point, at the points A, B, and C, such as blah, blah, blah. They want us to find what? The coordinates of the points of intersection. So first of all, when we find the points of intersection, in order to do that, we are supposed to follow this rule, in where we do the equation of the curve minus the equation of the line that's intersecting it. So in this scenario, equation of the curve, you need to expand it. So it's going to be x plus 3x squared minus 3x squared minus 9x cubed. So you can erase all of this, because 3x squared, and let me go back, hold on, yeah. So you can cancel these, they go bye-bye, and you will get your final answer to be 9 minus 9x cubed. Or sorry, not 9, x minus 9x cubed. Perfect, so this is the equation of the curve. Now we're going to subtract this equation from what? From the equation of the line. So what's the equation of the line? It's minus 8x. So now what are you going to get as an answer? You're going to get 9x minus 9x cubed. Perfect. So this is the equation of the curve minus the line, or the intersection points. Now, how do we find the coordinates of A, B, and C? Very simply, in order to do that, we need to find the x. How do we find the x in this scenario? In this scenario, you need to have a calculator, or you'll have to do it in a, we need to do mod 5, 4. Otherwise, you'll need to solve it. So how would you solve it? You would take the x out in common. So x times 9 minus 9x, or actually, let's also take 9 in common. So it becomes 9x times 1 minus x to the power of 2. So this has only one, and this is all equal to 0, right? So 9x times 1 minus x squared is equal to 0, right? And so that means 9x is equal to 0, x is equal to 0. You make each part equal to 0. And then we have 1 minus x squared is equal to 0. So x squared is equal to 1. That means x is equal to plus and minus 1. So now we have what? We have the values of our x, which is what? The values of our x, starting from least to greatest, which are minus 1, 0, and 1. Okay, perfect. So we can say from least to greatest, it's minus 1, then 0, then 1. Perfect. Now, how did I know how to order them? Just because I saw this, and you guys are supposed to understand from this what they want. Now, how do we find the coordinates of these points? Well, how do we find the y coordinate of these points? Well, very simply, you already have the x, so you can substitute it in either the line or the curve. Why? Because they're intersection points, meaning they're both the same points on the line and the curve. So if I substituted minus 1 and minus 8, I will get 8. If I substituted 0 and minus 8x, I'm going to get 0. And if I substituted 1, I would get minus 8. Perfect. Now, what did they say? They said the tangents to the curve at B and C are parallel. How do we check? First of all, you need to take the curve and you need to take the what's it called? The final expanded form, which is 9x cubed minus 9x cubed plus x, and then we take the derivative from it. The derivative from this is minus 27x squared plus 1. Perfect. So now at B and C, are they parallel? At B, it's 0. What do we get? If we substituted 0 in this equation, so minus 27 times 0 squared plus 1, we will get an answer of 1. If we substituted 1, if we substituted 1, so minus 27 times 1 squared plus 1, that's going to be what? That's going to be minus 26. طيب, what if I substituted minus 1? So minus 27 minus 1 squared plus 1, that's also minus 26. So they both have what? This and this. So A, this is B, and this is C. So A and C both have what? They both have the same slope, and due to the fact that they both have the same slope, we can say they are what? They are parallel, whereas B, we cannot say it is parallel to anything. So A and C are parallel, and the slope to the tangent to curve B, to curve at B is 1. Perfect, perfect. Okay, now we'll move on to question number 10. This is a really long, complicated question that's gonna take us 50 million years, but it's okay. The more we practice, the better we're at it, okay? Fill in the blanks with the correct whole numbers. We said, when we deal with a scenario like this, where we have a monomial or a binomial, and it's to the power of n, what are we supposed to do? We'll first deal with it as if it's a normal derivation. So 4 times 5x plus 1 to the power of 3. But we do not forget to multiply by the derivative of the inside. So then this becomes what? This becomes times 5. So this is all in all 20 times 5x plus 1 to the power of 3. And then we continue deriving the rest as normal. So plus 3x to this becomes 6x. Then minus 9. So the final answer is 20. 5x plus 1 to the power of 3 plus 6x minus 9. Same exact scenario over here. You have to do the derivation for each one by itself. Now we need to take the derivation of this. Just start normally. So 20x to the power of 4 minus 16x. And now we stop here. We're going to do this one by itself and we're going to add it. 6 over radical x. Separate the whole number, so 6 times 1 over radical x, which is the same as what? Which is the same as 6 times x to the power of minus 1 over 2. Okay. Now what do? We don't do the derivation for the 6. It stays the same, 6. But we do a derivation for this, so it becomes 6 minus 1 over 2x to the power of minus 3 over 2, right? Let's continue here. So it will become minus 3 over what? Over x to the power of 3 over 2. Remember, it's inside over outside when we're dealing with fractions as the exponent. So minus 3 over the square root of x to the power of 3, because this is 2, this is 3. And then after extreme simplification, we're going to get what? We're going to get minus 3 over x radical x. Okay, if you don't understand why, because we took away from this 2, right? We separated into x squared and then x. And then what's radical x squared? It's x. So you take it outside and you're left with what? With x radical x. Okay? So it becomes minus 3 over x radical x. So it's 20 to the power of 4 minus 16x minus 3 over x radical x. Very, very important. Part C. Now what happens in part C? Part C, we have u times v. And we said when we're dealing with u times v, it's u prime v plus v prime u. Perfect. What is our u in this scenario? Our u in this scenario is 3x squared plus 1. And what is our u prime? Our u prime in this scenario is, or like the derivative of u is 6x. Then we have v. What's our v in this scenario? It's, let me just put it directly as 3x squared minus 1 to the power of 1 over 2. And our v prime in this scenario is 1 over 2 3x squared. Okay, this is not going to fit over here. Let me bring it down. V prime is what? Is 1 over 2, because you bring it down. 3x squared minus 1 to the power of what? To the power of minus 1 over 2 multiplied by what? Multiplied by the derivative of this, which is what? Which is 6x. Now, perfect. Now we substitute in the equation u prime v, so 6x times 3x squared minus 1 to the power of 1 over 2, right? I don't have space. Why don't I have space? 6x times 3x squared minus 1 to the power of 1 over 2. Perfect. Okay. Now, plus what? Plus v prime u, which is, let's simplify this a bit. 6x times 1 over 2 is 3x times 3x squared minus 1 to the power of minus 1 over 2. So, plus 3x times 3x squared minus 1 to the power of minus 1 over 2. Right? Now, multiplied by 3x squared plus 1. Okay, so perfect. This is what it's supposed to look like. Let me erase everything now, so we have a lot of space to deal with now. Perfect. So now, what do we get? We get 6x times, let's say radical. 6x times radical 3x squared minus 1 plus 3 times 3x squared plus 1, all of it over what? Over radical 3x squared minus 1. So now what do we need to do in order to add them? We need to do common denominator. So we will multiply now up and down by what? By radical 3x squared minus 1. Same exact thing here. We will multiply by radical 3x squared minus 1. Now what do we do in this scenario? In this scenario, look what's going to happen. This multiplied by this will give me what? It will give me 3x squared minus 1. So it becomes 3x squared minus 1 times 6x over what? Over radical 3x squared minus 1. In addition to what? In addition to 3 times 3x squared plus 1 over radical 3x squared minus 1. Now let's erase all of this now because we need the space. So now what do we do in this scenario? We just need to expand, so it will become 18x squared minus 6x plus 9x squared plus, oh my bad, it's 18x cubed minus 6x, and there's an x over here. 18x cubed minus 6x plus 9x cubed plus 3x. All of it is over what? All of it is over radical 3x squared minus 1. Now I'm going to erase these again because we need the space. And now finally, after simplification, what will you get? You will get 27x to the power of 3 minus 3x over what? Over radical 3x squared minus 1. So you see what a long process is it? But in the end, we got the answer, which is what? Which is 27x to the power of 3 minus 3x over radical 3x squared minus 1. You can do it in two ways. You can do it u over v, u prime v minus v prime u over v squared. You can do it like this. But what I prefer to do is to bring this up, right? So what do we get now? We get x to the power of 6 multiplied by 6x minus 1 to the power of minus 1 over 2. Perfect. Now let's take the derivative of this on its own. It becomes 6x5. And let's take the derivative of this on its own. It will become what? It will become minus 1 over 2. Minus 1 over 2 times x to the power of 6 minus 1 to the power of minus 3 over 2. Okay, because minus 1 over 2 minus 1 is minus 3 over 2. Now, do not forget to multiply by what? Do not forget to multiply by the derivative of what was inside. So, times 6x5. Right? So, now we have the derivative. Let's take it as this. This is our u. This is our u prime, our derivative. And this is our v, and this is our v prime. Now, what did we say? When two are multiplied with each other, what do we do to them? We will do u prime v plus v prime u. I think this way is much easier, in my opinion. So what do we take? We will first of all take u prime and multiply it by v, right? So it's going to be 6x5 times x to the power of 6 minus 1 to the power of minus 1 over 2 plus v prime u. So 6x5 times minus 1 over 2 is minus 3x5. So that's just to simplify it. Plus minus 3x5 times x to the power of 6 minus 1 to the power of minus 3 over 2, all of it multiplied by u, which is x to the power of 6. Now let me erase these so we can have some space. Perfect. So now that we have space, we can expand and simplify. This will become 6x. Actually, no, don't expand that. You're going to get 6x5 x6 minus 1 to the power of minus 1 over 2 plus, actually not plus, minus, because it's negative, minus 3x to the power of 11. Why? Because this times this. X to the power of 5 times x to the power of 6 is x to the power of 11 times x to the power of 6 minus 1 to the power of minus 3 over 2. Now, in my opinion, I think to take out what? I think to take out the common in between this one and this, which is minus 1 over 2. So now, again, as I said, we need to take out the common factor. So what's common between 6 and minus 3? It is 3, so we will take out 3. And then between x5 and x11, the common is x5. Now, in between this and this, you always take the smaller number. In this scenario, because it's negative, this is the smaller number. So we'll take this out. So x to the power of 6 minus 1 to the power of minus 3 over 2. Okay? All of it is multiplied by what is multiplied by. Now, 6 divided by 3 is 2. x5 divided by x5 is 1. We don't put it. Here, we have x to the power of 6 minus 1 to the power of minus 1 over 2. We took away from it minus 3 over 2. So that means minus 1 over 2 minus 3 over 2. Okay, put it on the calculator. You're going to get 1. So it will become x to the power of 6 minus 1 to the power of 1. Now, what did we take out from this? From minus 3, what did we take out? We took out 3. So minus 3 divided by 3 is minus 1. x11 divided by x5 is x to the power of 6. And then this divided by itself is going to be 1. So we're not going to put it. So this is what it's supposed to look like right now. So now I'm going to erase everything up so we can have some space. So now let us do what? Let us expand the inside. So it will become 2x to the power of 6 minus 2 minus x to the power of 6. So it becomes what? It becomes then x to the power of 6 minus 2. So we can replace all of this by what? We can replace it by x to the power of 6 minus 2. And now what do? We bring this to the denominator. So now it's 3x5 times x to the power of 6 minus 2 over x6 minus 1 to the power of 3 over 2. Sorry guys, I was in the middle of the solving and it kicked me out of the SDP quiz. So let me write where we were. We were at 3x to the power of 5 times x to the power of 6 minus 2 over x to the power of 6 minus 1 to the power of 3 over 2, which you can write as the root of this to the power of 3. And then how do you simplify it? You separate it into 2. You separate it into x to the power of 6 minus 1 to the power of 2 and x to the power of 6 minus 1. Of course, the square root of this is going to be what? It's going to be x to the power of 6 minus 1. So let's also multiply and expand the top. It will become 3x5 times x to the power of 6 minus 2, which is what? Which is 3x to the power of 11 minus 6x to the power of 5. So very simply, this is how we get our answer, which is 3x to the power of 11 minus 6x to the power of 5 over whatever is in the denominator. Okay, so 3x to the power of 11 minus 6x to the power of 5. Perfect. Let's move on to question number 11. Hopefully it's a bit easier. Okay, this looks a bit complicated, but it's not complicated. Trust. They said let p, x, and 3x squared represent any point on the curve C. Let q be a variable point on C whose abscissa is this. So we have the abscissa, which is over here, which is the x, and our ordinate, which is the y, which is 3x squared. Now, what do they want? They want the slope of the secant joining the two lines P and Q. So the slope of the secant, we have the 2 points, P and Q, right? So what do we do in this scenario? We're going to do y minus y over x minus x. Now, what did they tell us? They told us that the value of x for P is x, right? So let's start. The value of x for P is x. So let's start with P, x. Now, they told us that the value of x for what? For q is what? Is x plus delta x. So the value of x for q is what? Is x plus delta x, right? So it's going to be what now? It's going to be x minus x plus delta x. Now, regarding the y, we have the y of p, which is what? Which is 3x squared, minus the y of q, which is what? Which is 3 times its x, which is x plus delta x squared. Are you understanding what I'm getting at? So look, we did x, they gave us the x of p and the x of q. We did 3 times x squared, so we also did 3 times x squared for what? For q. So our x is the only thing that differs when it comes to this thing. So now, let us solve it. We're gonna get 3x squared minus 3 times x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared over what? Over x minus delta x. So now, it will become, after more simplification, it's gonna become 3x squared minus 3x squared minus 6x delta x plus, minus 3 delta x squared over what? Over x minus x cancels out, over minus delta x. So what happens now? 3x squared minus 3x squared will go bye-bye. And we're left with what? We're left with minus 6x delta x plus 3 delta x, minus 3, not plus 3, minus 3 delta x. So now what can we take in common? We can take in common the minus delta x. So minus delta x, okay, times 6x plus 3, plus 3 delta x, okay, over what? Over minus delta x. This and this will cancel, and then we will get what? We will get the slope of the secant joining p with q. It's what? It is 6x plus 3 delta x. So 6x plus 3 delta x. Now, as the slope approaches 0, what happens now? As delta x, my bad. As delta x approaches 0, what happens? You just need to replace, so it becomes 6x plus 3 times 0, which is what? Which is 6x. So the slope of PQ becomes 6x. And when x is 1, what's the gradient of the curve C? When x is 1, the gradient of the curve C is going to be 6 times 1, which is what? Which is 6. Yeah, it's not typing. There we go. Perfect. That's question number 11 done. Let's move on to question number 12. Consider the curve whose equation is this number. Fill in the blanks with the correct numbers to make each statement. So, what do we have in this scenario? We have the curve whose equation is this. They want the equation of the tangent to the curve. In order to get the equation of the tangent to the curve, we know that the curve is a line. It's y equals ax plus b. We need to find the slope and we need to find a point. They told us that it's at x is equal to minus 1. So if x is equal to minus 1 in this scenario, how much is y equal to? Very simply, you substitute x in this equation. So 4 times minus 1 to the power of 3 minus 5 times minus 1 plus 2, you will get that y is equal to 3. Now, we have the point. So now we have the point, which is minus 1, 3, and we need to find what? We need to find the slope. So how do we find the slope? You have to take the derivative. So let's take the derivative of this. It becomes 12x to the power of 2 minus 5. Okay, so now let us substitute the value of the x, which is minus 1. So it becomes 12. So we will substitute minus 1 in here. So 12 times minus 1 squared minus 5. That's basically 12 minus 5, which is 7. So now we have what? We have the slope, which is what? Which is 7. So y is equal to 7x plus b. We have x and y. We have x is minus 1, and we have y is 3. So how do we find the value of b? You move this to the other side. 7 plus 3 is equal to b. b is equal to 10. So now it's what? It's 7x plus 10. Now they said the equation of the normal to the curve at x equals minus 1 is. We know what was the point again. The point is minus 1, minus 1, 3. Right? And we had the slope of the tangent, which is 7 now. The slope of the normal is going to be the reciprocal, which is 1 over 7, and you change the sign so it's negative. So minus 1 over 7. Basically, you can do minus 1 over the answer and you will get the answer. Right? So this is our slope, minus 1 over 7. Minus 1 over 7, x plus b is equal to y. We substitute with minus 1 over here. And we substitute y with 3. So the value of b is going to be what? The value of b is going to be equal to 3 plus, this becomes plus actually. Yeah, 3 plus 1 over 7 times minus 1, which is basically 3 minus 1 over 7. What is 3 minus 1 over 7? It is 20 over 7. So b is what? b is 20 over 7. So the equation is supposed to be minus 1 over 7. X plus 20 over 7 is equal to y. They said, let's move this to the other side. What do we get? We get 20 over 7 is equal to y plus 1 over 7x. Now let's multiply everything by 7, right? Why? Because they want x to be 1. So let's multiply everything by 7. When we multiply everything by 7, it will become 1x plus 7y is equal to 20. So it's going to be 1x plus 7y is equal to 20. Let's move on now to question number 13. Okay, this is relatively easy to what we've been doing before. So, here, like, I don't recommend doing u over v. Instead, just take it 2x8 and separate the denominator. So 2x8 over x3 minus 3x6 over x3 plus x4 over x3. Now, what can you notice? You can notice that each one you can divide by x3. So it's going to be 2x5 because 8 minus 3 is 5 minus 3x3 because, what did I write? 3x3 because 6 minus 3 is 3, and then last but not least, x to the power of 1 because 4 minus 3 is 1. So, from this we can take the derivatives. So what's the derivative of this? It's going to be 10x4 minus 9x squared plus 1. So 10x to the power of 4 minus 9x squared plus 1. We'll now move on to question number 14. The point on the curve y equal 4x squared minus 9, at which the gradient is 24, has the coordinates. So what to do in this scenario? We know that to find the slope at a specific point, we need to take the derivative of the curve. So it's going to be now the derivative of the curve, which is what? Which is 8x only, 8x. Now it is equal to what? It's equal to the slope, which is 24. So now we can find the value of x. That means x is equal to 3. Let us find now the value of y. How do you find the value of y? Very simply, you will substitute x in this equation over here. So 4 times 3 squared minus 9 is going to give us an answer of 27. So 3 and 27. Let's move on to question number 15. What does it say in question number 15? They want the derivative. In my opinion, expand. Okay, it's very easy to expand. Start with these. These, you should know them. They are the difference of a square. Difference of two square, actually, the dots rule. So what do we do? It's going to be x squared minus 16 times what? Times 3x. Perfect. Now you will multiply everything by this. So 3x to the power of 3 minus 48. Now what do we need to do? Oh, I forgot minus 48x. Now what do we need to do? We need to take the derivative. So the derivative becomes 9x squared minus 48. Perfect. Now we'll move on to question number 16. Okay. Question number 16. A curve has equation y equal x squared minus 2x plus 16, and the line has this equation. They said the x coordinates of the point of intersection of the line are given by this equation. How do we find this equation? Again, we said we're going to do the equation of the curve minus the equation of the line. So it's going to be x squared minus 2x plus 16 minus 2x plus a, right? So it's going to be what? Is going to be x squared minus 4x plus 16 minus a. So you just need to substitute. So x squared minus 4x plus 16 minus a is equal to 0. So minus 4x plus 16 minus a is equal to 0. For part B, for the case where the line intersects the curve at 2 points, it's given that the x-coordinate of one of the points of intersection is minus 4. What is the x-coordinate of the other point of intersection? So very simply, for part B, look what I'm going to do. For part B, they said that one of the points of intersection is minus 4. And we know that if one of the points of the intersection is given, that means if we substitute it in this equation, it's supposed to give us an answer of 0. That means minus 4 squared. Minus 4 times minus 4. Okay? Plus 16 minus a is equal to 0. This is a. I'm going to write it like this. A. Okay? So put it minus 4 squared minus 4 times minus 4 plus 16. We will get 48. So 48 minus a is equal to what? Is equal to 0. That means minus a is equal to minus 48. That means a is equal to 48. Now we have the value of a, which is 48. Perfect. So what's the equation going to become? It's going to be x squared minus 4x plus 16 minus 48, which is minus 32. Now, using this, we will put it on our calculator. You're gonna do mod 5, 3. Okay, again, mod 5, 3. Or you can solve it in any other way, as long as you solve it, mod 5, 3, and you're gonna get 1x squared minus 4x minus 32. So in A you put 1, in B you put minus 4, and in C you put minus 32, and you're supposed to get to answers x1 is equal to 8, and x2 is equal to minus 4. Okay, so these are the two answers. X1 is minus 4 and x2 is 8. For the case where the line is tangent to the curve at point P, the value of A, so now they are saying what? They are saying that the line is tangent to the curve at a point P. Perfect. So what do we need to do? So very simply, there is a rule you need to know, is that when we're dealing with a tangent, the discriminant, if you remember delta, is supposed to be equal to 0. So in our scenario, we're going to take the equation we had above, which is x squared minus 4x plus 16 minus a, and we're going to make the discriminant. Discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So it's going to be minus 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 16 minus a. It's supposed to be now equal to what? It's supposed to be equal to 0. Very important. So now it becomes minus 4 squared, which is 16, minus 4 times 16 minus a. So minus 4 times 16 is, what's 4 times 16? 64. So minus 64 plus 4a is equal to 0, right? Because I expanded 4 times 16 and 4 times minus a. Minus 4 times 16 and minus 4 times minus a. Then it becomes 16 minus 64, which is minus 48. So minus 48 is equal to 4a. Move it to the other side. 4a is equal to 48. That means a is then equal to what? It's equal to 12. Very simply. Now, what are the coordinates of this point? We now have the value of a, which is 12. So how do we find the coordinates of this point? Very simply, I'm gonna do the discriminant, not the discriminant, sorry. I'm gonna do the roots. You can do the roots as well, or you can put it on the calculator by doing mod 5, 3, my bad. But for the people who don't have this option, this is how you do it. You already have the discriminant, which is 0. So now you will apply that. B minus B plus or minus radical discriminant over 2a. So in this scenario, it's minus 4 plus or minus radical 0, which is 0, over 2a. So over 2 times 1, which is what? 4 over 2, which is 2. So now we have what? We have the value of our x. How do we find now the value of our y? You need to substitute it in this equation over here, which is the original equation of the curve. So it's 2 squared minus 2 times 2 plus 16. And we will get the other answer to be what? To be 16. Very simply. Now we'll move on to the next question, which is question number 17. It says, consider the curve C, y equals minus 1 over 12, x squared plus 12. The slope to the tangent of the curve. How do we find the slope of the tangent? Very simply, you would take the derivative. Now I'm mixing up with discriminant and the derivative. Okay. You'd very simply take the derivative of this. So it's going to be minus 2 over 12 x. Okay, so this, you will take the derivative, it will be minus 2 over 12x, which is basically minus 1 over 6x. So this is the slope of the curve, but they want it at the point 6, 9. Sorry, this is not the slope of the curve. They want the slope of the tangent to the curve at the point 6, 9. So you're going to substitute the x in this equation, so it's going to be minus 1 over 6 times 6, which is what? Which is minus 1. So the slope of the tangent of the curve is minus 1. Now the slope of the normal, we said to find the normal, you're going to take the reciprocal, so it's like 1 over 1. You flip it, it's 1 over 1 again, and you change the sign. So it goes from minus 1 over 1 to plus 1 over 1. So what is the slope of the tangent? It is 1. Now finally, what's the slope of the normal? It is 1. Now part C, the normal to the curve C, 6, 9 intersects the y-axis. When they say intersects the y-axis, that means x is equal to 0. So now we'll need to do what? We'll need to write the equation of the line of the normal. Normal is a straight line. So it's y equals ax plus b. Right, we have our slope, which is 1. Y is equal to 1x plus b, very simply. We can substitute the point 6, 9. So 9 is equal to 1 times 6 plus b. b is then equal to what? It's equal to 3. So y is equal to 1 times x plus 3, right? Now, they want us to substitute x with the 0 because they said it intersects the y-axis. That means very simply y is equal to 3. Now, last but not least, actually, no. Okay, this is not as complicated as the other one that was like, I don't know, 100 questions, 100 parts. But we still need to focus in this scenario. So what do we have over here? We have x squared minus 8x over 6 minus x. So there's two ways of doing this. I'm going to do the way that was taught, which is u over v, and I'll also do the other way. So the first way, which is u over v, you need to apply u prime v minus v prime u over v squared. Perfect. So look what's going to happen. You're going to take u, which is x squared minus 8x, and then you'll make it into u prime, which is 2x minus 8. And then we'll take v, which is 6 minus x, and then turn it into v prime, which is what? Which is basically minus 1. Now, we're going to do what? We're going to do u prime minus v, u prime v minus v prime u. So u prime v, that's going to be 2x minus 8 times 6 minus x minus v prime u. So let me fix this u. Minus v prime u, which is minus 1 times x squared minus 8x. All of it over what? Over v squared, over 6 minus x squared. Perfect. Now let us simplify now. So how do you simplify? It's going to become 12x minus 48 minus 2x squared plus 8x. Okay? Right? And we didn't stop here. What do we have after? We also have to simplify this. So it becomes plus x squared plus 8 plus 8x. Actually, no. Actually, minus 8x. Perfect, perfect. So minus 8x and plus 8x are going to cancel out. And then plus x squared minus 2x squared is going to become x plus 2x. Sorry. It's going to become minus x squared. Because plus x squared minus 2x squared will become minus x squared. And then it's all over what? It's all over 6 minus x to the power of 2. This is the first way of doing it. The other way, okay, is to do what? The other way is to do x squared minus 8x. And then you will bring this up. So it will become 6 minus x to the power of minus 1. And since these are times, what are you going to do? You're going to do u prime v plus v prime u. So what it's going to become? It's going to become, first of all, u prime. First of all, our u is x squared minus 8x. Our u prime is 2x minus 8. Our v is 6 minus x to the power of minus 1. And our v prime is what? Is minus 1, 6 minus x to the power of what? To the power of minus 2 to the power, multiplied by what? Multiplied by the derivative of what's inside, so minus 1. Now we can do crisscross, like this and like this. And what will we get? We will get 2x minus 8 times 6 minus x to the power of minus 1 plus x squared minus 8x times minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1 times 6 minus x to the power of minus 2. Right? So I'm going to erase on top so we can have more space. Okay? So now what do? We take out what's common. So what's in common between this and this? When we're taking in common between this and this, we always take the smaller number because they're negative. Minus 2 is the smaller number, so we'll take in common minus 2. So it becomes 6 minus x to the power of, all of it to the power of minus 2, multiplied by 2x minus 8, okay? Then, how do you do this? You're going to do minus 1 minus minus 2, which is 1. So it's going to change from 6 minus x to the power of minus 1 into 6 minus x to the power of 1. Why? Because we took away from it minus 2. So minus 1 minus minus 2 is 1. And we will add it to what? We will add it to x squared minus 8x. So let's expand this. It's going to be, this is going to be 12x minus 2x squared minus 48 plus 8x, right? Plus x squared minus 8x. Okay, so let me erase this in the bottom so we can have some space. Right? So now if we simplify it, it's gonna be what? It's gonna be 12x minus x squared minus 48. So if you put it in order, it's gonna be minus x squared plus 12x minus 48. And it's over what? And it's over this, because you will bring it from the numerator to the denominator, because we cannot stand with the negative exponents. So it's gonna be 6 minus x to the power of 2. So either of these ways work. Whichever way you do, you're gonna get the correct answer, as long as you know how to solve. Minus 48, 2. Perfect. Now, they want us to solve this. So very simply, we're gonna take it how? We're gonna take it as an exponent. So 1 plus 2x squared to the power of what? To the power of 9 over 2. We always do inside over outside. Now, what are we gonna do? We're gonna take the derivative. So it's gonna be 9 over 2. 1 plus 2x squared, right? Then 9 over 2, we're gonna subtract from it 1. It's gonna be 7 over 2. And we do not forget to multiply by the derivative of the inside, which in this case is 4x. Now, how's it gonna be? It's gonna be 9 over 2 times 4, which is 18. So now it's 18x times 1 plus 2x to the power of 2, all of it to the power of 7 over 2. Now, what I prefer to do in this scenario is to take what? Is to take the fraction and change it into a mixed number. How do we change it into a mixed number? 7 over 2. How many 2's do we have in 7? We have 3 2's in 7, okay? And what is left? There is left 1 over 2. So this is how you change it into a mixed number. If it does get complicated, so if the number gets bigger, why is it white? If the number gets bigger, what are you gonna do? You're gonna put 7 over 2 on the calculator, then you will do Shift SD. When you click on Shift SD, okay, you're gonna get what? You're gonna get 3 1 over 2. So this is what? This is the mixed number of 7 over 2. So it's now what? 18x times what? Times 1 plus 2x to the power of 2 times 3 and 1 over 2. You can very simply separate it, and it will become what? It will become 18x times what? Times 1 plus 2x to the power of 2 to the times 3, right? So to the power of 3 multiplied by what? Multiplied by 1 plus 2x to the power of 2 to the power of 1 over 2, which is basically radical 1 plus 2x squared. So 3 and 18. Now we move on to the last question, finally. They want us to find the derivative of this. Okay, so how do we find the derivative of this? Very simply, you take it as x to the power of 12 plus 4. Okay, to the power of what? To the power of 1 over 2. Now we take the derivative. 1 over 2 times x to the power of 12 plus 4 to the power of 1 over 2 minus 1, which is minus 1 over 2. And we do not forget to multiply by what? By the derivative of what's inside. So it's going to be 12x to the power of 11. So now, look what we're going to do. We're going to multiply this and this. We will get 6x to the power of 11. And this, we're going to put it in the denominator, and it will become a radical x to the power of 12 plus 4. Very simply, this is how we get it. Let's submit, and hopefully we do not have any mistakes. And perfect, thank God we don't have any mistakes. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.